Welcome to the True Grime Stories podcast, where in every episode, we'll unravel a new mystery of cleaning business transformation from a grimy mess to a great success. Join me, your host, Jeannie Henderson, as together we dig up cleaning business secrets that you've been dying to know. Hey there, friends in the cleaning business world. I'm your host of True Grime Stories, Jeannie Henderson, and so glad you're here today because I'm going to do something special. I am going to give a talk that I gave about 2 years ago at CBF Retreat. It's a members only event for cleaning business fundamentals members. And this talk comes up quite a bit. People refer to it a lot because it really helped myself and a lot of other people change our mindset around feedback from our customers. So join me today as I share with you about how you can find fortunes in your feedback. So think about this. How do complaints from your customers make you feel? Do you feel like a punching bag sometimes? Imagine this. You're finally home after a long day of work. You probably still have some paperwork to do, but you're getting dinner on the table and you get a text message from one of your clients. And they're not happy because one of your team members missed an entire room in their house. Or maybe they broke something, or they bumped against the baseboards, or they weren't there enough time. Whatever the feedback is, all of those are real feedback that I have received in my business. And it's kind of disappointing, isn't it? You work so hard, and at the end of the day, you get some feedback that just is frustrating and it's hard to deal with. Well, today I really want to help you kind of take your mind and shift it and turning your feedback into something that can help you grow. I want you to look at every single piece of feedback as a gift from your clients. Because when you receive it as something you're grateful for, you can truly discover how to turn it into something positive. So next time you get one of those calls, I want you to see it like it's wrapped up in a bow because that client is doing you a favor. So today we're going to talk about that mindset shift of how to look at feedback differently and how to get more of it. Get that. You actually want more feedback from your clients. Believe me, I'll explain. And then I'm going to teach you this 3-step feedback gift formula that you can take and use right now in your business to turn your feedback into a fortune. And then I'm going to talk about some of the fortunes that you can find in your feedback. So let's dive in. Before we truly get into the feedback, though, I want to tell you what my journey is regarding feedback. So my career prior to being in the cleaning business I was a restaurant franchisee with my husband, Terry. We had an amazing 30 plus year career. We built over 30 chain restaurants. Our first franchise was Little Caesars. That's where we met. And then we had a Big Apple Bagels franchise. We opened the first Qdoba Mexican Grill in the state of Michigan. And then we went on to open a wine bar and a smash burger restaurant. And in 2015, we retired and bought a little cleaning business, which is now called Jeannie Cleaning. Here we are 10 years later. But back then, we were bringing some of the lessons with us that we had learned in franchising. And one of those lessons was to listen to our customers. The franchise world has figured this out. All you have to do is go to Taco Bell and look at your receipt, and they are asking for feedback. And I'm not the one who eats at Taco Bell. It's my son. Disclaimer. And all you have to do is, go to a restaurant or go to a grocery store, or even, any of the chains. They all are asking for feedback, even my oil change shop, and that's because they know how important feedback is. So we can take a lesson from their playbook. And using feedback over the last 10 years, I've been able to grow our business from 54 customers back in 2015 to now 540 clients and almost 40 people on my team now. And our business is well over $2 million a year and growing. We're on our way to 3 million and onward, and have 2 locations. So I have been living in the feedback world for a long time. So I want to share with you some of the things that I've learned. Now, when we bought our business, I remember talking to my amazing predecessor, who I love so much, and she really wasn't into feedback. God bless her. She really was like, no news is good news. If the customers don't say anything, I'm not asking. Right. And I think a lot of us take that philosophy to heart. But I'm going to challenge that because it's not really true. We really have to have this mindset shift that every single piece of complaint is a little gift, or a big gift, maybe wrapped in a bow. And this is A Complaint is a Gift is actually a book. It's by author Janelle Barlow. It's a great book. I encourage you to read it or listen to it. And I'll be sharing some of the things in there, but also just my own experience with feedback. And there's a lot of beliefs about feedback. And I want to kind of share with you those myths and truths about when you get complaints. A lot of people think that we should naturally know how to handle feedback. And that is not the case. Most people are very uncomfortable with feedback, and so they kind of blow it. I know I have many times early in my career. Often we think our goal should be zero complaints. Well, that's unrealistic, right? And a lot of times people think if I'm getting complaints, then my team is not doing their job or our business isn't successful. But the truth is that complaints offer a chance to keep and actually improve customer loyalty. Um, what the complaints do, or the feedback, is it defines what your clients want. I mean, how do you know? You can't read their mind. You assume you think you know what they want, but you can't really get into their head. The complaints help you with this. And complaints, or getting feedback, is one of the least expensive marketing tools around. How many of you say, "Oh, I don't know how to do marketing"? Well, here's a marketing program you can easily implement in your business that can help your business grow by leaps and bounds. So, if you listen to what we like to call the voice of our customer, or the voice of our clients, it can unlock some amazing improvements in your business. Number one, it's going to increase customer retention rates. People have seen customer retention rates go from 56% to over 85% just by implementing a feedback program in their business. How does that sound? How much money is that going to bring to your business? It increases employee engagement, which reduces turnover. It has shown to increase engagement from around 10% to almost 40%. Again, you can't buy that, right? And it decreases the cost in customer service. The more we listen to our customers, the more we learn, the easier it is to serve our entire customer base. So I'm sure that thinking about feedback is making some of you nervous. So I want to share with you some facts about feedback that'll help you understand why this is so important. I've got a little pop quiz for you. Okay. Imagine you have 100 dissatisfied clients in your business. Now, I hope you don't, but some big businesses could, or some of those big chains. If you had 100, how many would complain? Do 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 do. How many? Only 4. Only 4% of people complain. Think of what you do. Do you complain when you're dissatisfied? No, you just stop going there. And that's generally what people do. People don't like conflict and they don't complain. So the 4 people who complain are telling you what 100 other people feel. Or to look at it another way, if one person complains, there's another 24 who feel the same way. Let that sink in. If one complains, there's another 24 who feel the same way. So you have to listen. All right, how about this? How many people does one unhappy client complain to? Yee, that's a scary one, right? If they don't go out and give you a bad review, how many people are they just talking to and telling them how dissatisfied they are? Guess. It's 12. On average, a dissatisfied customer will tell 12 other people about their bad experience. Yikes. You don't want that to happen, right? And so it's so important that you're listening to their voice. All right, final question. When 10 people read reviews, how many read the negative reviews first? You're not going to believe it. 8. 8 out of 10 people scroll right to the ones. They scroll right to the one-star reviews. I don't actually do that, but a lot of people do. I'm one of the 2 that doesn't, evidently. I'm kind of a cup half full kind of person. So, but a lot of people look at the negative reviews. So we've got to be listening to that too, because that's what people are looking at. So it's important to know these things to understand the importance of feedback in your business. Jim Rohn, who is one of the most amazing mentors of all time and who has given us so much insight into how to be successful, he said this: we have to learn how to turn our frustration, get this, into fascination. Instead of being frustrated and why did they say that? Like fascinated and go, why did they say that? Don't be angry, be curious. This is how you win at the business game, listening to feedback. And you really want more of it. And you're like, oh, come on, Jeannie, I don't want to have any more complaints. But actually, the more feedback you get, you start getting more positive feedback. So that's really cool. When you aren't asking for feedback, all you get is complaints. But when you ask for feedback all the time, you get a lot of positive feedback. And it feels so good. And you can use that positive feedback in so many ways. And I'll go into that a little bit later. But today we're just talking about feedback in general. So, how do you get more? This is so important. You want to be listening to the voice of your clients as much as possible. So, one way that we did this way back in the day in the restaurant business is we had mystery shoppers. And a lot of people do that in the cleaning business too. You can have people on your list where you send new cleaners to have them be evaluated by those mystery shoppers, and that will help you. Another one is just to have transactional feedback. Every time there's a transaction, ask, how did we do? How satisfied were you with this cleaning? Did we earn your 5-star review? You can do that on every single cleaning. A lot of the software packages today offer that. The one that I use does. And we read it regularly. We share it with our team. We use it to help our business grow. And it's such a key to our success. And it builds so much trust with our clients. We hear that word all the time, how they trust us and how professional we are. And I know it's because we're constantly asking for their feedback. Also, asking for reviews. It's in the Bible. You have not because you ask not. And you need to be asking for reviews. They don't just magically appear. You have to actively go after them. Now, you can't reward people for reviews, but you can ask for them. It's your digital word of mouth marketing. How many of you have said, well, I grew my business on word of mouth? You probably have said that before, right? Well, this is a different kind of word of mouth, getting those reviews out there publicly on all different platforms, not just Google, Nextdoor, Yelp, if you want to use that one. It's not my favorite. Facebook, any place where reviews can happen, ask for them there. And then you can also ask for a regular pulse. Like once a month, you could send out something to your clients, or with your newsletter, you could say, how likely are you to refer my business to a friend or family member? And grade that on a 1 to 10 scale. That is called the Net Promoter Score. That's a whole separate presentation on how to run a Net Promoter Score feedback program. But that's also something you see a lot of hotels will do that. You've seen it. You get those emails that people ask you to rate their business, right? And then finally, another way is to do some periodic customer satisfaction surveys where you can tailor the questions. And with AI today, it's so easy to create a great survey and tweak it. But you really want to dive into that client experience. And, 2 times a year, 3 or 4 times a year to send out a more extended survey. And what you could do is say, "Hey, if you fill out this survey, you're entered to win a free cleaning." And we do this every quarter or something like that. The more you get, the more successful you will be if you follow the 3-step formula. Now, it can be kind of scary at first. And I remember when we first had software that would send out surveys, and the first time we like clicked that button to send out the surveys, it was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get so many, so much feedback. And at first, it is a bit nerve wracking. It's about as fun as getting your teeth pulled. But over time, like I said before, every time you ask for feedback, you start getting more positive feedback and more positive feedback. And people will say things like, oh my gosh, Janie has changed my life. Every time she cleans my house, my spirit is lifted. My husband and I get along better. And my dog is happy every time he sees her. Like you get this really fun, wonderful feedback because you're asking. You're not getting that positive feedback if you aren't. It's probably pretty rare. You'll get a ton of it the more often you ask. So you really want to get that feedback flowing. Let's see, I lost my place. There we go. So the way that you do that, you can't just ask one time. It has to be all the time. So you want to introduce it. You want to communicate about it during your sales process. And this is a great part of your sales process too, by the way. Little hint. During the sales process, say, oh, and by the way, once you're signed up for service, we really want to hear from you as often as you'd like to let us know how we're doing, if there's anything you'd like us to do differently, and talk with clients about this in their follow-ups. It's very impressive when people hear you talk about that. And then be consistent. Select survey intervals that work for you and stick with it. Make it a part of your plan and your marketing plan and your reporting plan and your accountability plan with your team. We use scorecards in our business to not only score our business as a whole, but to score our employees as individuals to see how they're doing. And these scorecards are so helpful, and it's directly from the feedback from our clients. And then be persistent. Ask more than once. We send out our surveys to our clients after the cleaning. If they don't respond within 2 days, they get sent another ask. Or maybe it's only 24 hours, maybe 24 hours. So resend surveys to people who don't respond. And then you can include incentives, build in contests, get them excited, reward your clients for giving you feedback. But start small. I'm giving you a ton of ideas today. I tend to give you more than you need. Start small. Pick one thing and just do that often. Maybe it's just a quarterly survey to start with or a monthly survey. But if you have a software program, I strongly encourage you to do one every single time you serve your clients. Now, here is the 3-step formula when you do get some feedback. Now, assuming this is negative feedback, you want to also have a process for positive feedback. But for negative feedback, here's the 3 steps that I encourage for you. Write this down. Number 1 is respond. Number 2 is recover. And number 3 is repair. Okay, so here's what you do to respond. Number 1, what do you do when someone gives you a gift? You smile and you say thank you, right? And you want to do that with clients when they are giving you feedback. You want to be sure to thank them for taking the time. Remember, they are 4 in 100, 1 in 25. There are more people who feel that way. So you want to thank the ones who are actually taking the time to share with you how they feel. And then explain why you're so glad that they spoke up and how it's going to help you improve their experience and the experience of other customers. And then apologize. Be brief about it, but be very sincere. Be sorry. Saying sorry is powerful and it builds trust. Number 2, recover. So here's how you recover. The first thing you do, and this is what people do at restaurants when they're taking orders, you repeat back what the client said to confirm that you heard them clearly. So repeat back what you heard. Get a sense for what's going on with them. Get a sense for their emotion, how strongly they feel about this, how open they are to resolution. And then start to seek potential resolutions with them. What will make them happy? Some people just want to let you know. They don't want anything in return. They're like, oh no, you don't have to come back again. But other people will be like, yes, I would love for you to come back and clean the floors again. They really could use it. And then settle on the best solution for the client. And I don't suggest giving refunds. Be more active in your solutions. The solution might be, we come out on the next visit and do a quality check. And then make sure that you are following up after that complaint on their next service and maybe their next 3 services to make sure they're still satisfied. How often do you get a piece of feedback? You tell the employees about it, like, hey, Mrs. Davis was a bit disappointed in her floors. So make sure you pay special attention to that. And then you never think about it again. And then guess what happens? Mrs. Davis is dissatisfied, 2 or 3 cleanings later. Make sure you're following up. And then repair. Learn from this complaint, come up with a process so that it doesn't happen again. Does it require retraining? Do we have to update our process? Is there one employee who's in particular issue? Is it, chronic, or is it something that can be fixed with that team member? Identify the root causes. Don't just think it's always the team member's fault. It might be your process. It might be your training. It might be one of your trainers is teaching people the wrong way. What is it? I like to say, go all the way upstream and figure out where the basis of that problem is and fix it from there all the way forward. Fix your processes so that it doesn't happen again. That's how you make feedback work for you and work for your customers and work for your team members. This is something that one of our clients recently said, and I took this to heart because we have worked so hard on this. They said, your concern about customer satisfaction is impressive. Wouldn't you love it if someone said that about your business? Maybe they do. And if they do, that's because you're listening. And that's what people want. People just want to be heard. They don't want you to get mad, But now I talked about there's fortunes in your feedback, right? Number 1, increased client engagement and satisfaction. Remember what it's like to, when you're in the dating phase and you get in a fight with your early boyfriend or girlfriend and you make up. Isn't your relationship stronger because you went through something hard together? That is the same thing that happens with the client and your business when you go through some negative feedback together and you work out a good resolution. People become more loyal and more engaged, and they're actually going to refer your business more. I'll share you some statistics about that. I can't talk today. But I'll just tell you, when we started asking for feedback, only 27% of our customers participated, and our average score was 91% satisfaction rate. But just 1 quarter later, when we were really working on it, asking for feedback, coming back and asking non-responders to fill it out, our response rate went up to 38% and our average score went up to 97%. And that was a couple years ago. Now, our response rate is over 40 to 50%. Sometimes it's as high as like 47%. And our average score is 98%, and sometimes it's 99%. Wow. That's amazing. And it makes all of us feel good, and it works well for our relationships with our clients. It actually improves the relationship with your clients and loyalty by 37%. If just 25 customers stay with you 1 year longer because you listened, get that, 25 customers, if they stay with you 1 year longer because you resolved an issue from their feedback, that could add $100,000 to your business. Wow. I mean, the average customer is bringing in about $4,000 a year in the US. Wow. And get this, it'll save you about $10,000 in marketing costs because you don't have to replace those customers. Otherwise, we would lose them, right? Think about this. This is the fortune that's in your feedback. And that's why I get so excited about it. The other thing is, these people who have gotten through this hard thing with you, who now love you more, they're 33% more likely to give you a referral. If just 10 clients in a year give you a referral, that could be another $3,500 to $4,000 a year in revenue to your business. And again, saving you another $3,000 in marketing and sales costs. Whoa, these are fortunes. This is big money. I'm not messing around here. So I was so excited to bring this to you today, and I hope that you're finding it helpful. Now, how many people want more Google reviews? People who have given you negative feedback, but you worked through it with them, the next time they're really happy, they're 10 times more likely to give you an online review. Who wants more 5-star reviews? I do. And positive reviews can increase customer spending by 31%. The more positive reviews you have, people are more likely to want to buy from you. This is big, important stuff that you need to be thinking about for your business. And guess what? I mentioned this a little bit, but positive feedback is a huge gift too. Maybe even a bigger gift, but it's huge. And it really is a great way to take that feedback and leverage it to encourage and engage your team. I'm constantly talking to our team about the great feedback I'm hearing about the work that they do. And it really helps to lift them up. We have incentives that are tied to their scorecards. And our employees get to see all of their feedback, positive and negative, so that they can learn from it. It's such a great way. So I'm going to leave you today with 10 more things you can do. You might have to rewind this and play it again to get all 10. But this is 10 things that you can do with positive feedback. Because once you start asking, you're going to get a ton of positive feedback too. And this is a huge marketing tool. Okay, ready? Number 1, you can use it to write your marketing headlines. Let your clients write your marketing headlines for you. Like, best day of the week. How many clients have said that? Use that as your marketing headline. Number 2, share your reviews on social media. People love to read about that. It's social proof. We're social creatures. We want to hear that other people like that business before we will buy from them. Use it to write your website FAQ section. These are things that clients are concerned about and happy about. Let's write an FAQ about every single one of them. It's also searchable content. Use it as subject matter for blog posts. You can use AI to help you write those blog posts, but you can start with the review. You can use it for recognition for your team members. We do that all the time in our public chat that we have with our team. But we also put it on the walls and we use it in social media, recognizing them. You can tie it to an incentive program for your team members to get them more engaged. Like I said, you can decorate your office with those if you have an office. Also, you can use this data to create your ideal employee avatar. Look at which employees are getting the most positive reviews and the most positive feedback. And then those are your avatars. So then you can take their traits and characteristics and use that to figure out who is the most ideal person to work for us. We had this one young lady who worked with us, Faith, for a long time. She was so great. And here's a comment that we got about her. Faith is friendly, a good communicator, and provides excellent service. That's an A player right there. I want more people like Faith, so I can use her characteristics to identify other new employees. And you can feature some of this feedback in your employment ads to get people excited about being on your team. And then finally, number 10 is you can use it to identify success strategies to implement in your business. Here's a piece of feedback that I got. We love how the cleaners care about our pets. That's so important to us. How can I use knowing that how our cleaners treat pets is important to clients? How can I use that as a marketing strategy, as a training tool? So, all kinds of ways that you can use feedback, positive and negative, in your business to grow. Did you get excited about that? I know I'm excited about it. And I hope that you have found this helpful today. I would love to hear your comments. Reach out to me, connect with me on social media. In my show notes here, if you are interested in learning more about Cleaning Business Fundamentals, the coaching program that I'm part of, I would love to talk with you about that. You can set up a free call with me to talk about your business and how cleaning business fundamentals might be the right fit for you to help you grow. Uh, and if you found one of these strategies helpful and you're implementing it in your business, I would love to hear about it, or you can share it on social media. And be sure, you know what? I would love your feedback. So I'd love to hear what you think about True Grime Stories, any ideas that you have for the podcast. And I would love your review on whatever platform you are listening to True Grime Stories on. So, hey, my True Rhyme Stories friends. I hope that you found this helpful today and that you'll show up next week. We're going to be doing lots of special things here, playing some best of episodes, more guests coming soon. And I'll be doing more of these shares of content that I have created to help other people in the cleaning industry. So I hope you had a great time. I sure did. And we will see you next time on True Grime Stories. That's a wrap on today's True Grime Stories. Thanks for joining us in uncovering the secrets of cleaning business success. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and download, and check out our show notes for links and info from today's episode, and to learn more about our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Join us next time as we solve another True Grime story.